Let's take a look at 3.8. Now, before we get started with any music, any exercise, remember there are a couple of things that we're looking out for. One is our key signature, making sure what sharps, what flats, no sharps, no flats, make sure that we play in the right notes. The second is our time signature. Are we in 4/4, 3/4, 2/4? What are we in? For this one, we're in 3/4 time, so we only have 3 beats per measure. 1, 2, 3. And then our third thing is if we have a repeat at the end, we need to make sure that we're going back and repeating the whole thing. But in 3.8, we don't have one, so we don't need to worry about that. All right, the next thing we're going to remind ourselves is revisiting accidentals. We have a little blue box at the top of our, or wherever it is on your page, that says revisiting accidentals. Now, if you have an accidental, a sharp, natural, or flat in a measure, that accidental is good for the entire measure. I'll say that again. If you have an accidental at the beginning of your measure, that accidental carries through the entire measure. So if in measure 5, I have an accidental, I have an F natural, because in my key signature on alto saxophone, I have an F sharp. But in measure 5, I have an F natural written in. Then it goes down to an E natural, and then I go back to just an F. But is it going to be an F sharp, or is it going to be an F natural? It's going to be that F natural, because that's what's in that measure as an accidental. So I'm going to go F natural, E natural, and then F natural. All right. The other thing that we need to pay attention to is our dynamic contrast. So in the beginning of the piece, we start at a mezzo piano, and then in measure 5, we contrast that with a forte. So make sure that there's that difference. If you need to play at a softer dynamic, like a piano, to contrast with that forte, that's okay too. But just communicating that contrast is what we're looking for. Okay, and then the last thing too is we have a new note. So make sure that you are playing that new note, whatever you have. And for alto saxophone, it's my F. All right, here we go, 3.8. 1, 2, 3. All right, now I was playing those notes with connected airstream. I was separating those notes ever so slightly with my tongue. I was articulating those notes, not hoo, and pausing after each note, but make sure that sound stream, that airstream, is continuous, and you're just tonguing every single note. All right. And then in measure 5, my accidental there, I went back up to that natural, because I have an accidental in the beginning of the measure, and that carries through for the whole measure. And then when you get to the next measure, it's kind of like hitting the reset button. You go back to whatever is in the key signature, and then you finish out the piece. All right, guys, hope that helps.